We're live. We're live.
Okay.
All right, so there is no introductions to the shit. We just start recording. First off, I want to apologize for whatever this episode turns out to be. I don't take responsibility for the direction of what the hope is. Something good comes out of it, but sometimes it's you gather some people together and it's just a fucking train wreck of a show, or maybe we get some good stuff. Who knows? I mean, we do got some inspiration in the room. Whether we'll get to any of that is questionable. We got on the show. We got my mans and them, my way back from early days. Back in the day, Buffet, Mr. Craig Brewster, Craig the Barber.
Your barber's favorite barber.
I was gonna say your barber's second favorite barber.
Not all that great.
We got Mr. Nick Homer himself in the building. He's another one. We could get some great stuff out of this one, or it could just be another train wreck. But two people that are.
I feel like it's gonna be a mix.
It could be.
It's gonna
fluctuate up and down.
Yeah, and I'm going to do my best, man. I'm going to do my best to try to have some quality content come out of this, you know? Because first off, we got you guys in the room with Christopher Ledoux, who's a fucking nightmare when you guys aren't in the room. And you guys, the three of you are all best friends, so... Yep. And you guys shit on him constantly, and I also shit on him. So it's like, he already got put in the corner.
It's definitely going to be a shit
punked
show.
out of my seat again.
It's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
He knows his place.
So... We'll start with my man Craig, right? First off, he was a little sissy girl, didn't want to come on the podcast because he's shy or some bullshit. But
I don't know what it is. Being recorded? I don't know.
It's fucking. We can edit this.
I know.
You literally can't fuck it up.
You recorded during your statements.
They're not gonna edit any fuck up shit I do, so it's like fuck.
Nah, man, and you gotta understand that there's probably 6 people that'll watch this, and one of them will be your mom, and the other one will be my mom, and then Chris's mom.
For real.
And then and they tell us we're incredible no matter what we do.
That's right.
Superstars.
Yeah. Yep. So shout out to our moms.
Yeah. Love you, mom.
Love you, mom.
So Mr. Craig, we'll start with. You're one of the few people that knew me when I was like the nightmare version of myself. You know what I mean? Back in the day.
Nightmares together.
Yeah, we actually had that relationship where your mom and my mom connected because they didn't feel as bad about having such shit shows of sons. So like they
weren't blaming.
No,
they weren't blaming each other. Like,
no.
Us, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
they knew.
Your son fucked my son.
No, they knew exactly what they had in their sons. They knew exactly what they had for kids.
Our sons are both pieces of shit. Come here, hug me.
Yeah. And I think we were as early as like 14, 15.
Yeah, absolutely.
When the journey began with us fucking up.
Like running amok.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad for a very long time. And then went through high school. I remember I would go to high school and you were a grade below me and we'd see each other in the hallway and we'd point to the exit and we'd literally skip school every day.
Side door escape.
Yep. And we'd go to our boy Kevin's house who would stay in school. His mom worked and we would literally go to his house, pretty much breaking and entering. And we'd hang out at his house and do drugs and that was pretty much our every day at school.
That's crazy too. Like thinking about like my kids are gonna be soon in high school, and like to think that they would be doing the same shit we were doing. Like that's fucked up.
They better not be.
Fucked up.
Jesus,
they better. I can't even. You know what I mean?
I feel like
can't even imagine.
They'll never be able to get away with that, though. I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah.
But I mean, all right. So fast forward, we ran amok for a long time. We were the 2 heroin addicts in our school. We were like heroin addict before heroin addict was like a thing. You know what I mean? It was like, not that it's ever been a thing, but like before, like it was like a lot of people doing heroin. There was like 3 of us, and it was me, you, and Keithy. Shout out Keith Mack, even though he'll probably never listen to this. Maybe he will.
We got to get him on here.
He'd be incredible.
Yeah.
And we ran amok for a long time. And then that transition between, I remember you were like the youngest kid to go through like that halfway house in Boston. You were like the...
out of school. Like I got pulled out of school to go to a
drug treatment program. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's
What was that, about 30 years ago?
Yeah, close to 30 years ago. Yeah, Jesus.
No.
Yeah, and I remember people like asking me too, like, where'd you go? I'm just, you would have no idea, so I'm not even gonna explain it. You know what I mean?
What's heroin?
Yeah.
What's wild? So I like to go like this in this podcast because I mean we go from the youngest kid in a drug treatment program. I mean, you went to a drug treatment program at like 17, and around that time is when my mother sent me to New Jersey.
Yeah.
So she was like, I
was devastated.
Yeah, no,
that
I was.
happened, yeah.
They were like, "You're fucking gone, kid." They were like, "Yeah, we're sending you fucking anywhere but here." They tried that. What do they call that? The geographical change.
Yep.
I got sent to Florida to live with my Uncle Paul. I got sent to New Jersey to live with my Aunt Sherry. I got sent to New Hampshire. I was everywhere. I went to 3 different high schools in 3 years, and nobody wanted me.
So they say New Jersey,
Take them back.
New Jersey, the armpit of America.
I lived in the rich part of New Jersey, man. I went. My aunt and my uncle. They did. I had it nice, dude. I was getting driven to school in a Benz. I was like fucking getting made breakfast every
Like, this
morning.
is punishment?
Yeah. No, that was a good time. I was in the nice neighborhood. I found the one crackhead in the neighborhood though, and
We always seek it out.
dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It comes to us.
Yeah,
We don't even
yeah.
have to look for it.
It's like a superpower that no one wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should, dude. And what's nuts is like you wouldn't think he'd be in this neighborhood, and somehow he was. He was down
Smart.
this dead end dirt road.
All he's seen was money signs.
On this dusty ass street, there was like one shit house, and I found him, and he became my best friend in New Jersey, and I got sent back home. But so you go from I know your story, and you can get into it, but what's really important to me is the transition from your story into what your current story is. And we tormented our mothers and our families for a long time, in and out of treatment centers and all this stuff. But like the last time, I mean, we reconnected through recovery, right? About 5 years ago for the first time, and about almost 2 years ago now, and it's crazy because our paths get split. Like a bunch of us just like split up. You went to jail, I think, and I'm too much of a bitch. Like right before, whenever it was like about to like go to jail or they're about to send me, I'd run into a program and hide.
I'm out.
I was terrified. You were actually my first co-defendant on the first crime that I ever
True story.
committed. Yeah, and when we got arrested outside of
Pawn shop.
a pawn shop, I had my hair in cornrows.
Shout out to Union Street.
Union Street, yeah. True story, dude. True story. I grew my hair mad long to my shoulders, and I had got it cornrowed at this Spanish salon. And dude, I was gangster, and we got arrested at this pawn shop. And then I remember we stayed in jail that night, and I was like doing my best to take out the cornrows because I knew I had to go in front of the judge, and I just couldn't do it. They were so fucking tight. If you know anything about like a Spanish salon or how they do, it's not like a white person does your cornrows where it's all like dusty and puffy falls apart. Like no, I thought that shit was permanent. My face was like this, dude. When I was done, it was actually more painful getting my hair cornrowed at this salon than it was to get a lot of these tattoos. I'm dead serious. Like I was crying when it was happening, and then that shit was so tight when I was in the cell. I was trying to pull it out, and I could not fucking. It was like just painful, dude. Like every bit of it. So I got half of it out. What I didn't know is that when you take your hair out of cornrows, it froze out, dude. So I went before a judge the next morning. I think we were chained together.
Oh yeah.
And I had a half an afro.
He looked like Method Man with Mary J. Blige video when he pops out. He's got half of his head cornrow, the other half.
But also
in front of a judge.
But also, I'm not Method Man. I'm a 140-pound white dude, pasty pale and sick, and I'm wearing some dusty ass rugged clothes, and I have an afro out to here with the other half of my head and cornrows, and that was the beginning of my journey, because I think I was 17 years old, 18. We were 18 when
Yeah, when we went to see the judge too, I'm like, we're definitely going to jail.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. The kid looks, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I'm like, we're fucked.
As soon as you see him, you're all confident. As soon as he walks out the cell, you're like, oh fuck, dude.
Yeah, they let us go.
Like, I'm snitching.
I know. Craig did it. He made me.
Chris just gets
I'm yelling from the cell, don't say a word. Don't say nothing.
I honestly, you know what I did? I cried. I cried when they arrested me, and I was like, they were like, did you do it? I was like, I did it all. I started admitting shit from fucking 10 years ago.
I had no idea about.
Yeah, I started admitting to any fucking crime, lies I fucking ever said. I was just in so much pain at that time. I was like happy to be caught. You ever been like just in such a fucking dark place that when you do get arrested, or when like you do get kicked out, or when it's just over, you have relief.
Yeah.
You know, I remember being in jail that night, and I just, as sick as I was and as much as I didn't know what was happening, I just knew it was over.
Yeah.
Like the muck that we were running, it was like such a, like just so exhausting mentally, like the lies, to keep up with the lies, to keep up with the hustle. I mean, our best hustle at that point, we had to transition into B&Es because like they were onto us at Walmart, because our big boost was like fucking DVDs at Walmart, and we hit the same 2 Walmarts all the time. And then we crashed my car. It was bad, dude. It was bad. It was so, like, everything that could have possibly went wrong, dude. I got robbed. I destroyed my car.
Jesus.
Everything was just fucked. And so in jail that night, I had relief, and that was my beginning process of going into treatment. I ended up going to my first detox. I remember going into Tewksbury Holden, and that's when our separation happened. And you kind of was like,
I'm like, fuck it, dude.
Let it ride.
I'm riding it till the wheels fall off.
Which then ultimately led us to, I think I got clean maybe 5 years later. And then I didn't talk to you again till I was, 8 or 9 years clean.
Yeah.
And it was through Facebook, your mom's Facebook page. For some reason, you always hit me up through your mother's
I never
Facebook
had a phone.
page.
By the end of it, I had no phone, no nothing. And I called my mother on a payphone, probably, if they were still, I don't know.
From your park bench.
Yeah. The park bench I was sleeping on for the past month.
You should give your mom a shout out, Craig.
I love my mother.
I love your mother.
Yeah.
Definitely a saint.
She is a saint.
Is a ride or die.
Yeah.
For sure. She should have gave up years ago. You know what I mean?
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's impossible.
I would have thought she would have. You know what I mean? But yeah,
she's the best. And so we fast forward, right? So you go through that long, you go on a tear for X amount of years. You have a bunch of babies.
Yep.
You go run amok, and then we reconnect, and we'll fast forward up until this last point, because I mean, you had your trial with recovery and stuff like that, but this time it's been different. It's been a shift, right?
Yeah.
And for anybody that knows Craig knows that like he's one of the best human beings alive. Like, and that is the last compliment I'll give you on this podcast. But you're
good, because I don't like him.
I don't like him either. But people, you're just like all around people that come around you just love you. It just is what it is. I don't even understand it, because I've known you forever. And I'm like, fuck this kid.
Piece of shit. He's a fucking
Piece of
Shit. Piece of garbage.
And I know, like, I've always like, it's you're the thing. It's the same with my struggle. Like you always had these God-given talents and these gifts of like just someone that was just like just had that thing, man. And the only thing that was in your way was you. Mm-hmm. And the only barrier to entry to anything that you ever wanted in your life was you. And it was like you constantly couldn't get out of your own way. And even when you wanted to, you didn't know how. No. Right? So which is even worse. So you're in that vicious cycle with the want and the desire, but not the understanding of how, which is also important. So then we transition to the point where you finally get into recovery. And man, Life looks a lot different now, brother, huh?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit? I want to know about the transition, like how we go from like that into like where we're at now. For those that don't know, Rise Barbershop, whoop, Craig, owner
136
operator,
West Pearl Street. We're closed right now.
Yep.
But
Come get a Corona cut, bootleg Corona cut. You know what it is.
Yep.
You gotta send a raven. You'll get a response.
I'm not cutting right now.
He's not. He would never. But if he
Never.
was,
Do the wink.
he does it from 6 feet. He does it. He's got this.
Yeah, 6 feet. I get the broomstick. My clip is at the end.
Yo, for someone as blind as Craig, I don't know how he does fire cuts because
just
he's
said
like,
that
I don't even
today,
fucking know. I can't even see. I'm like, dude,
I'm hoping for the best.
That's
It's gonna
it.
come out good. I don't know.
It's the lighting.
So you got your own barbershop, a very well respected barbershop now here in Nashua. You're like looked up to. You're a person that like is a power of example to people. You help other people. You have like a strong network community. You have all these people around you. I know that you give back to the community. You give free haircuts at your barbershop. You go to the different sober houses and halfway houses, and you hook up guys with free haircuts. You go back to the programs that you went through, and you take care of the new guys in them. And like you're this completely different person. And like how did you get to that place?
And all that is like purpose of life, like
Of
purpose
course.
of living, like, and like you gave me that opportunity. Like, if we're gonna be real, like, you know, I put the work in it at first, but like you seen something in me that I never see, and like to this day I still question it. I'm like, should I have this? You know what I mean? Should I have all this? But like, I know, like, I deserve it. You know what I mean? And people tell me that, and it's like hard to accept. But yeah, like you gave me that opportunity, and you've been telling me that for years, but I never believed it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's
But it's like, and I appreciate that you say that, but like it's opportunity needs to be taken. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's many people that like I was given an opportunity to be in this position, and many people are given opportunities, but they don't take. It's like you can give the blueprint to so many people, and this is the path towards like a spiritual solution or a spiritual evolution. This is how we can change and prosper, and like and you're like I'm not even just telling you this is what it is, but look the fuck around. Like you can see it if you just open your eyes, and people will go, all right, yeah, cool, and they fucking do something else. So it's more than just me given the opportunity, you know what I mean? Because I'm just given what was given to me. Yeah. That's how we do this shit. And anything in life, you just pay it forward, and you took advantage of the opportunity. You had every opportunity to go and do things how you always did them, but you trusted in a different process, and you took different steps this time, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's true.
So what the fuck did those steps look like?
Those steps was me shutting the fuck up and listening this time, and like and paying attention, and like you said, seeing like how other people are doing it and how their life looks like. And I wanted that, and I've always wanted that. But like I did it my way, you know what I mean? And sometimes I still do that, you know what I mean? But you know, this time I knew it was different. Like I had enough. Like this, however long, 20 years of using, like I had enough. Like I didn't want to do it no more. I wasn't gonna do it no more. Like I was putting my foot down and being like, this is it. Like, and then opportunities, you know, arise from that. So.
What would you think the most important characteristic traits that you? I mean, it's a trick question because I'm trying to lead you into what I want you to say, so I'm just gonna fucking say. What am I trying to get him to say?
I don't know. I just said you have to agree with you.
Oh, see, I just double flipped it. What do I say is always the ultimate, like the key to freedom in any of this, like to get it? Yes,
honesty.
Don't fucking hesitate.
Honesty.
Is it honesty?
Honesty?
Question mark.
It's the willingness to be transparent in your truth. Like we have to allow people to know where we're truly at, and like that's like part of like the transition that I'll get into with Nick. how I know of Nick and stuff like that. But it's like when you get to this place where you're truly being transparent, you're allowing yourself to be seen, then you can establish real relationships that become supportive, important, like relationships that you have in your life. They're the pretty much what I would classify as the backbone of a lot of this stuff, because whatever you believe in, I believe in God, I believe in energy and all that, but the way that the universe and God and all that works is through people, right? And we're only as good as the people that we surround ourselves with. And so like when you can lock yourself in a group of other individuals that can see you and gut you in spite of you, you know, that understand what your character defects are, what your flaws are and all this stuff, and they're willing to support you through no matter what and accept you from where you're at, not try to make you be anywhere other than where you actually are in that moment, you know, and you don't have to put on a show or to try to make other people comfortable.
What's that saying? A chain's only as strong as the weakest link. So it's like that's. Like,
I don't know. I don't like it. Anyway, I was just kidding.
Piece of shit.
A chain's only as strong as the weakest link. No, I agree with that. And you are probably the weakest link in a lot of chains.
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah, I agree. True. I agree.
No, but I mean, and that's a huge part of it, because I watched who you surround yourself with from a distance. You know what I mean?
100%,
And like that's like with Nikki. I'm sorry, I don't like Homer. You're like one of the dudes that I heard of for a long time, because every new guy that came around was like, Nick's my sponsor. You know what I mean? Or I think I'm gonna ask this guy Nick to be my sponsor and all that. And
I'm just a scapegoat, man. That's all I am.
And then I got to know you, and I started to realize that you're probably not the best sponsor for a lot of these guys. I'm just fucking with you. But what you are is you're one of those guys that is like me, that loves to collect new guys that are nervous and don't know what they're doing because you were nervous and didn't know what you're doing. And you are one of the best that I know of, that I've met in a long time, of giving that unconditional love to the new guy coming into the halls, to like bringing him in a circle or bringing him in a group and showing him what camaraderie is, and breaking balls and giving him that. I seen you do it with Craig, and then I seen you do it with Chris. I seen you do it with a bunch of guys, and how important that is. And like you embrace them and love them up and bring them around and make them feel a part of, and like that connection component, right? We talk about that's the opposite of addiction, is connection. And like the most beautiful thing you can do for any broken individual is to make them feel a part of, to give them a safety net, to give them an outlet of something. And you're fucking amazing at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'm just average. You know, just like my sponsor always tells me, I'm just another bozo on the bus. But a lot of that comes from, you know, when I first came in, back in like 2008, I was 21 years old, and I remember walking into meetings with 200 people, and I still felt alone. You know, you get all these cliques, and like the people that still want to get fucked up are over here, the cliques are over here, and here I am in the middle, and I would still feel alone. Yeah. And eventually, man, I'd start meeting up with the people that are going out to the clubs and fucking pounding Red Bulls and eating Johnnies, and before you know it, man, I'm getting high again. And then I'm sitting back at square one saying, wow, how this happened. Yeah. You know, and one of my biggest things, man, I just never got whole here. And in 2010 is actually when I moved up here. And that's when I met my sponsor, who's still my sponsor today. And he actually just celebrated 17 years. Shout out to Johnny Post.
Shout out.
Yeah.
And between him and Lou, my grand sponsor, man, they unconditionally loved me when I came back. You know, because I went in and out a bunch more times, and I became a father, and you know, I lost rights to my daughter for a while, and you know, when I came back, dude, I was just so beaten and broken. Like, they held me up. Yeah, like I couldn't walk on my own no more. You know, and you actually said it when you gave him his 1 year medallion. Like, they were breathing for me. Yeah, until like I finally got out that darkness long enough where I could stand and breathe on my own. And honestly, if it wasn't for them two, I'd probably be dead. Yeah. And then, you know, Johnny, you know, the best thing I love about both of them, man, they will tell me everything about their flaws, and like they're still sober. They're still doing it, but like they fuck up and it's okay. Yep. And that was like, wow, I want that, what he has. Because anybody that like walks around me and thinks they're fucking perfect, stay away from me. I'm good.
Nope.
Because you're a fucking liar. Because like this isn't easy. You know, it gets easier. I have my good days, I have my bad days, I have highs and lows, and like I have people like Craig and Chris, and you know, I have a network of people I can call Michelle if I need her. You know, sometimes we need a woman's advice, and like there's been plenty of times I'm working nights. You know, I pave and I'll go weeks without seeing my friends, barely talk to them, and I'll go kidnap her like one night because I'm on night shift and I'm used to being up all night. I'll like steal it just to have somebody to talk to. Yeah, and she's there for me, you know, and
that's one thing that I do love about you, Nick, is which I identify with a lot, is that you don't give a fuck about like whenever I get asked to share, I'm like, oh, you're getting all of me. Yeah. You're just let's get this out on the table right now, motherfuckers. Everybody in this room. I don't know how you may have perceived me prior to this moment. Get rid of it because I don't want that expectation. But here's who the fuck I am, and I have to. And you're similar. And there's a lot of people that won't do that. That are terrified of that, to be like, oh, I still make mistakes, I'm still a fuck up, or I can still struggle. Or it's like, no, why do people classify that as bad? I classify that as being a fucking human being suffering from human frailty well before suffering from even addiction or anything. We're gonna make mistakes. It's like, what do we do when we make them? Can we at least have the wherewithal to like acknowledge it? And to like, because once we acknowledge it, we're now in a process of something, right? Yeah, we're not in denial. Yeah.
And that's why people can relate and love to hear it.
Yeah.
Because they can relate to it. You know what I mean?
And what's tough
not a lot of people do it.
You'll get a lot of guys that want you to be their sponsor after. Yeah. Just like I get a lot of guys that want me to sponsor them. Not because I sound so poetic, because they're like, this dude's a fucking maniac. Yeah. I identified with everything he said. It's like, no shit, because that's where a lot of us are at and where we struggle. And I admire that about you, because I don't see that. There's a lot more of that now. Yeah. You know, and I remember my first sponsor back in the day when I used to feel like shamed when I would raise my hand. I could feel like judgy people and stuff like that. But I remember he said something to me because it would drive me crazy, because it seemed like all anybody ever did was raise their hand, talk about how beautiful their life was and how everything was perfect. And I'm sitting over here dying. I have like 7 years clean. I'm like, God damn, what am I just uniquely fucked up? Like what? Yep. And then I realized, like, because I just wanted to set a precedence, and I told him, because I was complaining about the meetings and all this stuff, and he told me, and it's one of my favorite sayings. I think it was fucking Gandhi. He was like, you gotta share how you be the change you want to see. Yeah. So like share how you think that you need to hear someone share in order for you to feel relief. Be the relief for somebody else. And like when I transitioned, I started to do that. I started to connect more, and it does become contagious, right? You see a lot more people just being like, fuck it, here I go. And from that, more connection happens, right? You're able to connect with more people, and you're able to have the dialogue, and the dialogue's where the solution is contained, and the dialogue between human to human.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something, man. When I first came in, I was weak. You know, I love my mother, love my father, my sister, man. They were always there for me. They're definitely my guardian angels, I can tell you that. They never gave up, just like your mother, you know? And, but like I sit back now, like I have strength. Like inside, my father was probably right. I was fucking weak. But now that I've put some work in, and Johnny, man, honesty. Nikki, I don't care what it's about. I want you to be honest with me. And when I first came back, he's like, honestly, you know, because I was that little jerk off that used to come into a meeting about halfway through, raise my hand, tell you all how to stay sober, and then turn around and walk out like I fucking own the place like some asshole. And when I got back, Johnny's like, nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Just sit down, shut up, and they want to see it. Let's see your action. You know, and like I said, I'm not perfect, dude. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you're almost 8 years. You can't act like that. I can act any fucking way I want. I'm still a human being. You know, but it's being aware of making the mistakes and changing it. Yep. Like, when I first came into where I am today, I'm definitely a different person, 100%. But I'm still not perfect. I'll never be.
Fuck no.
And I don't want to be, to be honest with you. I'm good.
Progress, not perfection. Also, anytime anyone claims to be perfect, run the fuck away from them.
I told you that.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
There's one perfect person in this world, and we fucking crucified him. Put him on a cross and killed him. Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
Shout out JC.
Shout out Jesus. Chris, do you want to contribute to this, or are you just gonna sit in the fucking room and just suck up the oxygen?
I'm surprised my mic's even on. No, I mean, when Craig talked about opportunity, he didn't have to take it, you know. And you're talking about sayings, but it's like leading a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and it's that type thing. You drank the water and you took that opportunity. A lot of people do fuck that up. Like I'm sure, you know, I've taken opportunities my whole entire life that has been given to me, and I just took advantage of it. But until like the fog was cleared and I was actually ready to change and looking for purpose and like believed in myself, because that's the thing is like you guys came into my life, Michelle, you know, Nick, Mac, you know, everyone, the whole crew, Chris, you, and you know, I was looking for purpose and I just wanted to like feel a part of it. I didn't know what it was and I needed help and I didn't love myself, right? So I hung out with guys that showed me how to have fun, and they loved me until I learned how to love myself, you know? And it's weird because I come from a very supportive family, you know, parents, brothers, everything like that. Success, you know, they all have great careers, retired early, everything, family, white picket fence. But for some reason, I need to hear the same advice from an addict just so I could be able to relate. And like that's where it's like, you know, I was never like led down like you're worthless, you know, you're never gonna accomplish anything. Like my parents paid for me to go to college, and after a semester I couldn't get certain grades, so they're like, you can't get these grades next semester, you got to pay. And I said, fuck that, right? That's my constant story is like build my life up to be something, knock it down, I'm gonna try to build it back up again. I'm sick of knocking it down. Like I'm sick, and that's where like I understand that like I need to own my truth, right? Because the second I started being honest, especially like when I first got clean, like telling my parents about stuff that I did and like just needing to get it out, I was like, they're gonna hate me. They respected me more for just being a man and owning my shit than fucking me lying and manipulating. Plus I didn't have to fucking keep track of my lies anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it started like slowly, you know? And that whole saying, fake it till you make it, man. Like I faked being happy and I faked telling myself like today's going to be a great day, even though I was still obsessing over the next drink and drug until I really fucking woke up one day and truly believed that, you know?
When was that? Yesterday?
Yeah, it was fucking about 24 hours ago.
Congrats.
Yeah, but you know, we talked about Nick. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you done yet? Jesus.
Yo, you talked about Nick though, right? And like reaching out to newcomers, and like that's how we got linked back up. He did kick me out of a bar on Main Street. I'd like to bring that up.
Shout out to Peddler's Daughter.
Shout out Peddler. It's sponsored. We're also sponsored by Rich Print Shop.
Rich Print Shop. Yep.
You said it right this time.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not Rich Print Shop. Rich Print Shop. You need any shirts, any mugs, whatever you need.
Yo, this kid was speaking at a meeting. And like I raised my hand and like I related to him or whatever. But after the meeting, he like flagged me over and we started talking. And he asked for my number and I got his number. And I don't think I texted you. I think you texted me like, "What the fuck's up?" Like it was. But
I don't remember.
You're dragging me out.
Staring at me, and I was like, "Oh, this tool bag's gonna come talk to me after the meeting." Mm-hmm. Great.
I'm like, "What is this Gaelic tongue, Massachusetts tongue he's talking in Revere?" But you know, but he introduced me to Kowloons, and like you know, I met certain
teriyaki
people.
Nuggets.
Shout out to Kowloons.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah. Shout out to my 8th grade dance and my freshman and my. I don't know why the fuck you guys are so. It's like every like.
Don't shit on a honey hole,
Oh
bro.
my god.
We went there. What was it? Last week?
Friday night for takeout. I had to, dude. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I need some teriyaki nuggets. You know.
I'm still disgusted because
Kid could have bought a house 3 years ago, but he spent it all at Kowloons, dude.
I think
we had Chinese food twice that day. So I'm still disgusted about it.
Yo, I had to bring him back to life, bro.
I went to Kowloons. I went to Kowloons for my birthday last year for my 1-year celebration, and I think for everyone else's birthday. We should get sponsored by him.
You proposed to me too.
Oh my, I forgot about that.
It was sweet.
It was very sweet.
It was sweet.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, little good times.
Whoever said you can't have fun being sober.
I grabbed Michelle's ass. We danced together.
Yeah, you guys danced.
Oh, man. Good times.
I definitely got some heat for posting that on Facebook that night.
Shout out Michelle's ass.
Oh, Jesus. Which Michelle?
Michelle Vanagle.
Oh, all right.
Smith.
All right. Oh, God. Shout out Adam. We record this podcast like the only people going to be listening to it are, which is pretty accurate, like the 7 people that we always reference. But all right, so we've touched on a lot of whatever so far. No, it's good. No, Nick, you brought up some good stuff. Chris, you thank you. Thank you for being here. You know what I mean? It's just thank you. So Craig, we could talk about something that's very important in this world. You know what I mean? That can get a little dicey for people. That takes more people out, which is breakups and recovery.
Oh man,
I knew it.
Craig's a master
I'm gonna
at
hit
that
this.
the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, here's my perspective. That's one thing. Not even just in recovery. I see more people fucking lose their goddamn minds with breakups than even I think the first episode we recorded, we talked about it a little bit with Slain it's a very common thing, especially in the addiction world, man. It's because you have all these endorphins pumping and stuff like that, and we decide that someone is a fix to something that we think that we're lacking, especially when we haven't done a lot of work on ourselves and we're still requiring validation. You know what I mean? It's like plugging a hole, and then when that thing's removed, it's like we got to go through a detoxification period.
You're not exempt, Chris.
Oh,
Chris, he's looking at you right now.
All of us have gone through
It's great learning curves.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And life in general, like.
Well, it's huge. All right, I've probably talked more. The number one thing when I sponsor guys, or when people call me, the number one thing people call me about
Females.
is women, is heartbreak, is going through and like guiding them through that, because they're fucking, your first instinct when you're in the emotion of it and when you're in the thick of it is just ridiculous. It's asinine where our mind takes us, and pain can cause us to just act outside of our fucking moral compass and our natural character to just do some crazy shit. And our solution always looks like, what is the quickest route to make me no longer feel pain? When the actual solution is a requirement of sitting the fuck on your hands and doing a lot of nothing. You know what I mean? And not only doing nothing, but like, why don't we look at what the lesson is in this, right? So history doesn't constantly repeat itself. Why don't we understand what my part is, just so that down the road I don't find myself in this same situation? Because a lot of us can get to a certain point in a relationship, right? We can all get to a certain point, and then it's just like, you know what I mean? My wife is the first one that I could get to the certain point and actually sit on my hands and actually work on. I understood what the difference between an actual relationship, like a real relationship, and what I thought was. You know what I mean? Because we confuse lust and love. We think that lust is love. Lust isn't love. No. Lust is just the sexual attraction that you feel in the beginning. Love comes with work. Love comes when you actually fully 100% know somebody. You know the darkest and most fucked up parts of them, and they know the darkest and most fucked up parts of you, and you guys decide, we're still going to be together. We're still going to move forward. That's how you know you're in love. You're not in lust. People are like, I loved him. It's like, no, motherfucker, you knew him for 3 months, and you had just endorphins going crazy, and now you're lacking that. Love is actually, it comes with the requirement of work, right? Because you're in a growth. 2 people growing, you constantly have to get to know each other over the course of time, right? Because you're changing. Everybody's constantly evolving and changing your boundaries, what you want in a relationship, like all this stuff. There's different things that we need, and you're constantly adapting and have to be willing to adapt and willing to. That's being in love with someone and wanting to put in the work. Yeah. Lust is like, oh, you make me feel funny in my pants. You know what I mean? Let's hump.
Chris don't even get that far. It's just FaceTime.
All right, so now the breakups, right? And you handled your breakup like I was very proud. You know what I mean? Like, not a lot of guys handle it where they just transition.
And I only did that because of the people I surrounded myself with. You know what I mean? Because I was torn up, dude. Yeah. You know, you all see me. I was fucked up, dude. You know what I mean? But like, talking about it, you know what I mean, and having people around me and like support, and it got me through, dude.
No, absolutely, and that's the thing. Like, and it's relentless communication. It's
Yeah,
the constant talking.
As much as I didn't want to talk about it, like I just, I had to. I couldn't keep that shit in.
Oh, because it'll pop, dude. You'll pop.
Yeah, 100%.
Because this is what I usually see, right? People break up. Then you see, all right, here comes the social media. Wicked stupid posts that embarrass me when I read them.
Oh, yeah.
And then people throw digs at each other through Facebook, or they're just really trying to be like, my life is amazing, or whatever it is. And everybody sees through it and the other person. And then there's that whole transition of Facebook. And then there's the like hardcore, I don't give a fuck transition on Facebook.
Yep.
And then there's the like, dressing up of the outside, or then there's the like trying to fill the hole with like, now I'm just going to do them. It's, when really the solution to all of it is just you have to feel it to heal it first and foremost.
Literally sit with self.
That's it, man.
Like that, and that's what I did. Like I did none of what you just said, and that was probably the best move I made.
Because if you otherwise you're prolonging eventually having to what? Sit with self.
Yeah.
It's like you'll pay me now, pay me later, but you're fucking paying.
Let's get it over now. And that's just how it was. That's how I was thinking. Like, I want this pain to be done with, and I'm not going to do some stupid shit. Let me sit with myself and surround myself with people that I love and will be there for me no matter what. And that's what got me through. As quick as it did. You know what I mean? So
the thing about this, like the group of friends too, is like I can tell you guys anything, but I will get the 100% truth. There's no co-signing bullshit. And the thing too is, Nikki's got some time, a lot of time over us. He's already got his marbles back, but he comes with experience, and I need to know how someone got through something sober, whether it's a death, a breakup of a relationship, the loss of a job, whatever it is. And that's why it's like I was told you attach yourself to people with time, and that's why. How the fuck do you have it? I remember when I first got clean, though. At every meeting, my sponsor told me to find someone with 10 plus years and ask them how they stay clean on a daily basis, because how did you make it? Breakups are fucking
they suck.
But watching a friend go through something like that and like feeling for someone else, like it's like when the the Grinch's heart grew fucking 10 sizes. Like that's how I feel like getting clean, because I started to feel for other human beings.
And there's no advice to give other than like you gotta
listen.
sit still. You know what I mean? There's no like you can't give a time frame when it's you have to have blind faith. It's one of those things you just gotta know that at the end of this you'll be fine. No matter what. I needed
to be told what to do though.
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
And
I was told. So like
what my grandfather used to always say to me. I'd be like, what do I do? What works? And he's like, want to know what works, Chris? Nothing. Nothing is what works.
Smart man.
And exactly that's what everybody told me. Don't do nothing.
Nothing is the hardest thing to do.
I'm like, what do you mean nothing, dude?
Especially when you're going like psychotic, dude.
Oh my God.
He's seen me go through like, what was it when you first came around, like 5 years ago? I think I just celebrated like 3 years, and I was dating Chris's crazy cousin.
Shout out Chris's crazy cousin.
And
hi Brittany.
Dude, and I don't blame just everything on her, because like I played my own part, right?
Don't play the nice part now. Fucking get to the good shit, dude.
Bro,
Love you, Brittany.
Overdoses on my floor, cheating on me with a bunch of dudes in meetings, and like I didn't know at the time, and like
oh Jesus.
And dude, I literally went psycho.
Yeah.
Like he witnessed it. Like wheeling knives at meetings, waiting for the kid, and like it was just 3 years sober, and I'm looking at myself, and my sponsor looks at me and goes, "Kid, it's like you relapsed." He's like, "You were absolutely insane."
And you looked like you relapsed.
Yeah, I lost like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
I used to bounce at peddlers, and like they're like, "Dude, you getting high?" I'm like, "No, dude, I wouldn't even be here if I was fucking getting high."
Yeah, but it looks the same.
It does.
It really does look the same, because you can't eat, you can't sleep.
It was miserable.
It's all that shit. Yeah.
And it was the typical thing, dude. I had just gotten out of a crazy relationship with my daughter's mother, and that's just we could do a whole fucking podcast on that bitch.
Episode 2,
but
3,
let me
and 4.
tell you something.
There's gonna be shout out to parts to this.
Oh, you have no idea.
Hey, we'll pull up their IG handles and pictures.
Click here.
But it was funny because I was alone for a couple of years, and I learned to sit with self, and like I found this inner peace, and then this girl walks into my life, and You know, it's like, I think I can touch the hot stove this time and not get burned. I'll just wet my finger a little bit. I'll be all right.
Yeah, all while having 3rd-degree burns all over you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just fucking an inferno.
You're still telling yourself this.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a spot I'm not burnt on.
Typical 3 months into it, yeah, I love you, got her pregnant, all this crazy shit, dude, and like,
Well, how else would you do it?
there's no other way. You can go all the way, you know what I mean?
Dive in head first, right?
That was a great conversation with Patsy. Yeah, she's pregnant. My mother's like, what are you, fucking out of your mind, kid? You know what I mean? Typical. And, dude, like, that's when he had relapsed. He was living at my apartment in Nashua. So I got some people getting high at my house. I had a roommate in a 1-bedroom. I was letting him stay with me. He's fucking drinking 100 nips a day. And, like, I just surrounded myself in this chaos. I was literally driving to Lawrence to help her get high because she would lie to me like, yeah, I'll go away. And finally, I just drew that line in the sand and I stood with it. That's why today, like, I have that boundary.
Yeah.
And I learned to be able to sit with that boundary and stick to it.
And
that's
I envy that boundary.
And I tell him that all the time, and I tell him, but it took me a while to be like, all right, enough's enough.
Yeah.
That's why they say we suffer from a disease of addiction that can and will manifest itself in any and all areas of your life. It does not require drugs to create a spiritual, physical, mental, or emotional bottom. That it can take anything that can remove you outside of yourself and take you out of the reality of what your current circumstances are. And it can get you to chase that as if it was a drug. And you see that happen because that was unmanageability. That was
100%.
That was a complete spiritual, physical. They said you look like shit, mental, emotional bottom in the grips. People are asking you if you're getting high. It doesn't matter. Yes, you were. You just weren't using drugs, but you were high as a motherfucker on a hard run.
It was and it was the most miserable summer of my life.
Oh, absolutely. And
Couldn't
people
sleep, eat. It didn't matter, dude. You know, and everyone around me was like, what are you doing to yourself, kid? And that's why I say I can't fully blame her because I was still doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know what I mean? I allowed it. You know, I didn't change anything about it, so I just let it continue to happen. And that day came when I was like, fuck this, enough's enough, like I'm done. I just can't do it, dude.
Because at some point, you're not a victim, you're a volunteer, right? Because
Exactly.
especially when we have the information and the knowledge, and when we're not applying it, doesn't mean that we're naive or ignorant. It just means that we're just not willing to take action in what we know. And sometimes we don't have the ability to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I alone don't have enough strength. That's why I require people. I require relationships. I require a relationship with God. I have so many people that can breathe for me when I can't breathe, that can lift me up when I'm fucking weak, that can push me when I don't want to go, and like make me sit on my hands. You know, like my mother would be like, sit on your my mother does talk like this, fucking hands, and do nothing. And she'll get straight gangster on me and like tell me my truth, you know. She'll say, don't be a little bitch. Like my mother will say that to me. Like as far as like wanting to act out or wanting to like throw little, oh, I'm gonna do this, or I'm hurting, so I want to hurt people. It's like that's not what the game is. You know what I mean?
Oh.
What the overall, what we're looking for is a solution, right, to what we're going through. And that solution is sitting still and getting a deeper understanding of like what that situation was. And when you get a deeper understanding of it, you can, when you start to get through the clutter to get to the clarity, you can understand that it wasn't meant to be, right? Or maybe it was, but it's not now. Because sometimes the answer is not no, it's not yes, it's just not now or not yet. And we can't always try to understand in the midst of things. It's not for us to figure out in the current moment. It's for us to have faith and give things time. And the best thing that we can do in those moments is to not only sit still, feel our emotions, process them, have dialogue, and then be better. I always, when guys, what do I do? My advice is always like this. Do you have a gym membership? Get one. How are you eating? You eating like shit right now? Well, don't. Now eat healthy. Are you going to meetings? Well, now you're going every day. You're reading books. Now you're reading books. Like literally, it's a laundry list of like the superset of every spiritual, physical, mental, spiritual thing that you can do for yourself. And it's like, you're doing this against your will. You're not going to want it. You're going to be that weird guy doing fucking curls with the 15-pound dumbbells with tears in your eyes. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking hate you. I hate you. You know what I mean?
And you're talking about him again.
Yeah. And you're going to do that every day.
Yep.
And you're going to, all this stuff against your will, because it's impossible that after enough time of doing that in spite of you, you'll start to look better, feel better, sound better, even though you'll still have that knot, right? Or you'll still have those moments during the day where the right fucking, Adele song comes on the radio, and you're like, God damn, what the fuck?
I gotta pull over and
Katy
cry.
Perry or some type of song that you like. The
Post
lyrics are
Malone
like,
gets me, dude.
I swear to God, every song that whenever I go through a breakup, it sounds like it's saying like, Chris, she left you. Chris, you blew it. It's like every lyric is like specifically, you were driving in your beat up car in your fucked up apartment in Lynn. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, don't you feel like the song was like written towards you?
Yeah, all the time.
It's
All the
fucking
time.
brutal. But that's the blueprint, right? And it's hard. And it's like surround yourself. You have to get yourself, because our instinct is to isolate, right? We want to isolate and hide
so
from
bad.
the world.
So bad.
You have to be around people. You have to be around like as many people as possible. Force yourself into those interactions, man. And I my favorite people to surround myself with is usually like my brothers and some of my other, because we take pain and trauma and we flip it into humor. It's fucked up, dude. It really is fucked up. I guess outside of
that's a
I'm
good way,
almost
though. That's a good
hesitant
thing,
to even
though.
say it on the podcast. You know what I mean?
I think you should. Remember the birthday? It was your brother's birthday. It was something. It was, you were reading something in the office. I gotta remember, but it was one of your brother's birthdays, and it,
Oh my God! Shout out to my brother Trey. Right. So
so fucked up.
Maybe people won't think this is funny. I don't give a fuck. Welcome to the podcast. So I always torment my brother Trey about his cats. He always gets cats, and he loves cats, and they die. That's it. They're supposed to live forever, dude. This dude's cats get killed. My mom fucking let the neighbor borrow one before, and fucking they lost it. My sister ran over another one, I think, or maybe she didn't.
Who borrows a cat?
Someone had mice.
knocks on the door like, can I borrow some cat?
Oh man.
So I always talk shit to him in group text. We're fucking brutal to each other, but we find it comical. Whenever we're going through heartbreak or like death or anything, that's how we console each other, me and my brothers. And we have a sick sense of humor. It's very fucked up. So when my biological father died, because we have two fathers, I was raised by my stepfather. He passed away when I was 25, and then 7 years later, my biological father died on ultimately the same day, right? And my brother Trey texts me so everybody's like, so sorry for your loss.
You're leaving laughing right now.
Because he already knows what Trey said to me.
Piece of shit.
And so everybody's like consoling me, like, I'm so sorry for your loss, so sorry for your loss. And then I get a text, boom, and I reach for my phone, and it's my brother Trey, and he's like, Jesus, dude, you go through dads like I go through cats. That's all he said. That's all he said. Yeah. And
Good though. That's a good one.
Yo,
That's definitely a good one.
When he read this at the office, I was like, oh my god.
Oh,
dude.
it gets even more brutal, dude. We're venomous, dude. We're venomous, especially. But I need that because it makes me take the seriousness off of it, right? And it's just able to laugh at myself, laugh at the circumstances, being around people that it's because then when you get down to it, right? We quantify all these things as such like a big part of the overall of our whole entire life just because of the amount of emotion that we're feeling. But really, it's just a small moment in time that will lead to lessons that were necessary to learn to prep you for whatever is to come.
Yep.
Right? Because that's all that pain is. It's the lesson to prep you for whatever it is to come, and it's necessary information that we require. We just didn't know that we needed it yet. Right? So all the heartache, all the shit that's while you were in the midst of that, it's not like you could be like, oh, I'm gonna need this information one day. So that's you're never gonna be able to see it like that. No. But now looking back, it's necessary.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's strengthened your character as a man and as a man in recovery, and it's changed your what your acceptance is for what you allow, right? In a relationship. And
it's all growth, man. All growth.
Absolutely. And it's a part of the growth spurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking of fucked up humor, right? This is my brother. So obviously, I put my parents and like my family through hell, and I stole everything that wasn't bolted down. But like with like holidays, when I first was getting clean, like my brother would try to like lighten the mood. He'd like take his wallet out of his pocket and like show me and put it down on the counter. It'd be like, here you go, you know. But and he always sends me like, I'll send him memes, like recovery memes, and it's just like just a way of like, I don't know if because I made amends. except for Brian, I haven't made him an amends. But like that's like our way of like handling it. You know, that's our sense of humor, which is cool. Because before I used to get, you guys know how worked up I get, and like easily like I'm pissed off. You guys could say something completely irrelevant and I get going, but you know the relationship we have today is huge. What do you got, Nick?
I wasn't gonna say no. No, well, I will say one thing. It's a little different with my family, man. My first couple of years back around them, to be honest, well, I wasn't a lot around them for a while, but I never felt like I fit in, even after a couple of years, man. And
I still don't. You know,
sometimes I feel the same way, and I just sometimes it's like, I gotta go, you know. Yeah. And when my grandmother passed away, it was sudden and whatnot, and man, I've spoken meetings with 500 people, 400 people, and now I got to eulogize my grandmother, and you know, I got a sick sense of humor because like that's how I deal with it, and I'm fucking laughing in the pew and like cracking jokes, and my sister looks at me, she goes, "You go up there, you better be fucking serious," you know, dude. I was deathly afraid speaking in front of my family. You know, they're not like me, they're really not.
Yeah.
At least you have that. That's why I have you guys.
Yeah.
Because I have somebody I can vent with. You guys can handle my mouth a little bit.
We were fighting at my father's wake. Me, Nico, and Trey, we were up at the my two brothers. We were in the thing, and then you know when you get a sense of because everybody, it's so uncomfortable, right? When everybody's just sitting there staring at you, and it's just like what a fucked up concept, right? you get in a line. And you have to stand there, and then everybody has to like embrace you, and then everybody cries in your arms, and then they pay their respect, and then they all sit in chairs facing you,
awkward.
And then they just stare at you while you're standing there, and it's just especially for us three idiots, you know what I mean? Then we start fighting, and then we start laughing, and then we feel fucked up about laughing. So while we're laughing, we're just hugging each other, so people think that we're crying, but we are crying. We're crying in laughter, and that's just like how we get through stuff like that. You know what I mean? And there's been so many moments like that we just fucking torment each other. Even when we were on the fucking show, we were all on America's Best Dance Crew together. And it was the most stressful, fucked up thing that we ever did. Like, I literally hated every second of it, other than when like the episode came out and I got a bunch of followers on Twitter and Facebook. Other than that, it was just like so torturous, dude, and so brutal. And we would just literally, how we would get through is we would make each other laugh, like live filming on stage, just talking shit. We were telling a story the other day. We did this paid show, me, him, and my brother, and there was like 50,000 people there or something. And he was supposed to come out and do a flip, and right before we were all on the side of the stage, and right before we were supposed to come out, my brother Trey dead legs Nico. Boom, punches him in. Dude, literally, they're like, funk phenomena. And we're supposed to come out, and Trey turns and just punches him in the leg. And I start dying laughing, and my foot gets caught in the curtain as I'm coming out. So I trip coming out, dude. This dude's got a dead leg. Instead of throwing a flip, he ends up throwing a fucked up cartwheel. And the whole time, Trey's just pissing himself laughing on stage in front of like thousands of people, dude.
Everyone watching is like, what the fuck?
That's it. But that's how it was. Either we made each other laugh and we got through, or we just froze with fear. We didn't go on stage at all. That's literally like the way that we find like the whatever the fuck with the humor, comfort. Yeah. I was looking for the word comfort. Yeah. Don't get so excited. Don't get so excited that I fucked up. You're over there just waiting, dude.
In the corner.
Well, now what I'm gonna do,
the Birdman.
I'm gonna turn it over to you. Go ahead, take the lead for a little bit, and I mean, we got about 10 more minutes.
How many? When did you guys like first meet? That's what I want to know because
me and him.
Yeah, I know.
I was a freshman, and he was a sophomore.
No, you two. I know you shot him up the first time. That's why all this exists. I know that.
Yeah, that's actually a true
and
story.
Craig was also case number 1 of Hep C and Lynn. That's how long he's been using drugs.
And now it's gone. It just disappeared.
That vanished.
That is
20
the
years
most.
later, it just disappeared.
So
Vanished.
I finally had the balls to go to the place downtown Harbor Homes to get my Hep C taken care of. He's like, I'm gonna go. He wasn't even gonna go. He's like, yeah, I'll go too. Like just out of boredom. We go get blood taken, everything like that, and I'm like, I'm feeling fine. Craig's every day like, oh, I can't go to. I had to leave the barbershop early.
Take a nap.
And then this kid, literally the day before,
do it. My Hep C is flaring. Ooh.
so the day before, he literally went home and took a nap. He couldn't stay at the shop. He gets a call. He calls me. He's like, hey, what's going on? Did you get a call? I'm like, yeah, I got to go for my appointment. I still have. He's like, yeah, mine's all gone. I feel great. Like it never existed.
Literally that day, Craig found out that he was just a lazy ass dude. He was just fucking lazy. And
Never had it this whole time.
Never had it.
All the tests were wrong.
that whole time he was blaming it on fucking Hep C, and come to find out, he's just a lazy motherfucker,
Piece
dude.
of shit.
Fucking
Just the
piece of
Fuck,
shit.
they're on to me.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
All those times, like, guys, I gotta go. My Hep C is flaring.
Rare steak, can't do.
Can't do it. Oh God.
Yeah.
But I mean, any last things we want to touch on? I mean, do you got any? Yeah. I mean, this has been good, but I can honestly tell you guys, I'll never have you back on this podcast.
That's some bullshit.
No, I'm just kidding.
This
I'm
isn't
just
getting
kidding.
aired either.
I need to get. No, it absolutely is.
I wasn't that
100%.
bad tonight. I watched my mouth. That was good.
No, you were really good. I want to get 2 more mics in here because I want to add a dynamic.
He must know, Chris. He must know.